and welcome back to Lynx River Talk.
Hey, how's it going? Today we have a great interview for you with Buffalo Child, straight from Arizona.
He played Andre Lebret in Season 1, Episode 10, and Season 2, Episode 7.
Yep, and it was a great interview. There were some great views, so enjoy. I know we did, and yeah, check it out.
All right, good. So this is Arizona you guys are at right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's sunny, t-shirt weather. You know. I usually run around in my jogging pants sometimes because it's so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, my first acting job,
Yeah.
I was 17 years old. I lied about my age. I was supposed to be 18 to work in Lynx. I was working for Region Drilling, and I was working on a triple. And I was roughnecking, and I worked Kiara&Matt at 17.
Wow.
And then I came home one day. My little sister Rita was with this theater in June, and they had people like Kenzie Cardinal there and Paul Jackson, and they worked with this director named Bryce Bissell. And I didn't want to be an actor. He kept saying, "We want you to be in our play," and I said, "I don't want to be an actor." And it went on like that for a while. And then finally he says, "Please." And I said, "No, I'm not interested." And then he said, "Well, we'll pay you." And I said, "Really? You get paid for this stuff?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I'll try it out." So I tried it out. And then all of a sudden there was like, here comes the track. It's a new manager here. He's a cowboy.
Oh, yeah?
Track. He always it's too funny. Anyway, it's a long story, but it went like this. Then he said he'd pay me, and I said okay. And so I ended up working on this play called The Twin Sinks of Al and Sammy. And I never knew anything about acting. I didn't know that it really could affect people. And there were some people in the audience there. And I played a character named Nanis. I was 17 years old. And I played about a 83-year-old person.
Oh, wow.
And they put like spirit gum on my face and makeup and lines and white shoe polish in my hair, like the liquid one. My hair is white. And Bryce was an excellent director. He went to some acclaimed New York school, and he really knew how to direct, and he knew how to act, and he was awesome. Bryce Bissell. So he taught me about, making it real and feeling it, and also techniques. And he says, when you're old, you talk real slow. I'll be. Your coppers don't shine anymore. And then he says, when you're young, you go, holy jeez, man, what happened? Like, you're all excited, you talk fast. So I learned some little techniques about acting, from Bryce.
That's great.
And I had no idea that it was going to take me all over the world. It took me to a lot of different countries and places. And it was pretty awesome, and I really appreciate Bryce Bissell. He was in Edmonton at that time, and it was a long time. But that was my first acting thing. But what happened there was the character I played was called Nanis. And Nanis was like this 89-year-old elder, and I was only 17. And Bryce taught me all these techniques about acting and movement, and I did those techniques. And then we had a play. We had elders come in, and one old lady, she was probably around 89 years old, she says, "I want to meet Nanis." And by that time I had my makeup off. I went over and said, "Hi, you're not Nanis, I want to speak to Nanis." "No, I'm Nanis." She didn't believe me. And then Bryce called me over and he said, "Bryce, just smoke a little pipe." He says, "Talk to her character." I go, "Oh, look, me. You're a was amazed. She says, that's true, that's you. I go, yeah. So it was kind of phenomenal. And you could hear a pin drop in the audience, like in the play, you know. Am I still up there?
We lost video.
Your video seems to be
Okay, let's see if we
cutting
can get it back here. Okay, I'll try.
out. Technical difficulties.
Okay, I don't know how to do this, but we'll figure it out. You got audio.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still got you on audio clear.
Can I push this video button?
There we go.
Okay. Sweet.
So anyway, I ended up having, I was amazed. People cried in the audience. They cried. And they were scared. And they were laughing. And I couldn't believe that acting affected people like that. It kind of blew me away. And that was my first acting job, you know. And, I was 17 at the time. And I worked with Tantu Cardinal at that time in that play. And I worked with, Tom was in another play that Bryce did. And that was the beginning. And then from there I went on to do other films. And I worked with some really good actors, native actors. Like one of my favorite, that was a really good actor, was Graham Greene. Graham was excellent. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of skill in his acting. And anyway, what's your next question?
We were gonna ask how you got started on North of 60.
Well, by the time I got to North of 60, I did a whole bunch of other films. I did like a lot of films, a lot of TV shows, guest star shows, and I had Border Town. I did a couple of guest star episodes as, and I played Dave the Cook on one episode of North of 60. And that's a really funny story because I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico one day, and they did a radio interview on me, and I said, okay, let's do it. So we did it. And then halfway through the interview, this guy came on the interview and says, Buffalo Child's an imposter. I'm the real Dave the Cook. And then the commentator person said, what do you got to say about that, Buffalo? I said, well, he's right. He's the regular David Cook, but he was out on a bender, and they couldn't find him, so I played David Cook on one episode, and the guy hung up. So it was kind of a funny story, you know what I mean? It's hilarious, yeah.
So you would have been on North of...
That's what happens, I guess, you know. If you don't play your role right, you know, things happen.
So, how did you end up choosing the role of Andre?
Or was it chosen
I
for
did.
you?
They had that role.
Okay, they had it ready for you?
Well, they had written it in, and I ended up, auditioned for it, and I got the role. But if I would have knew that Andre was going to get shot, I probably would have said, get me something else. I didn't know. But I mean,
Although you may
when
not
you're an
have...
actor, you just play the role. You know, you're not the person. You're just acting the character.
I don't think very many people could have pulled off that job, though. I mean, the way Andre is, especially in season 2, episode 7, there, and his death scene, whew, he's quite fiery.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a great
You know,
job. A lot of physical acting there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm a physical actor. You know, I've been even hired in Italy. They flew me to Italy to ride a horse down a mountain.
Oh, wow, that's
And I could see
amazing.
the Swiss Alps, I could see the Matterhorn, and I did a suicide ride bareback down the mountain.
Wow.
I don't know what that
I
is.
had to audition for that, and I had to ride off with, there's a really good actor, a really good rider. His name is Good Striker. I forget which one he was. Anyway, he played Sitting Bull in Euro Disney. And he says, oh, Buffalo will get hurt, you know. I come from a long line of riders, and we're horse people, you know. It's a dangerous thing you want him to do. Only I can do this. And I said, I can do this. And they said, so they had a ride-off between me and Good Striker. And Good Striker was Blackfoot, blood, you know, from down southern Alberta. So me and him had each a horse, and we did a suicide ride down this mountain, you know. And
Wow.
it was kind of exciting, you know. You get the adrenaline flowing, and it's like the Man from Snowy River, but we're bareback, you know.
Yeah, well, the
it's kind of
promo
fun.
video you sent us there, it had a lot of horseback riding and even like motorcycle, ATV
Yeah,
riding, stuff
a lot
like
of
that.
you do your own stunts.
I do my own stunts. I even was in a professional stunt union at one time, and I made it to the Stuntman's Hall of Fame.
Oh,
They
wow.
had me in Moab, Utah, and some of my video stuff in the Stuntman's Hall of Fame. So that was something that
That's an
happened.
accomplishment.
I was kind of a wild guy, and it kind of fit the character. It was just something you do, when you're a native guy, you just kind of go with the flow, ride the tide, don't push the river, But it's windy out here. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, a
It's
little
a
bit,
of
but
a breeze.
the audio isn't. It's not picking up on audio, so you're good.
It's too windy. The audio's getting messed up.
No,
No.
it's not getting messed up.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I just put my hand underneath it here. Yeah. So I live in Sedona, Arizona,
Mhm.
and I've got a place here. I've been here for years, and I came out here maybe 25 years ago the first time, and I kind of climbed this Bell Rock place. I could show it to you if you want to see it.
All right. Let's see.
And I live close to it, and then I started being a tour guide and a hiking guide, and I kind of enjoyed it,
Yeah.
And some wild experiences I had here, It's been pretty amazing,
That's
I
good.
kind of, I like it. I'm sitting in a swizzle chair.
We're getting the panoramic view.
So
Oh
what
yeah.
what was it like to play a character like Andre, since he's so wild?
Andre, they told me how wild he was and what he had to do, bang in the car and get frustrated and all kinds of stuff. I said, okay, I can do that, so I just did it. But I added my own stuff into it. There was a scene when I had the gun, and then I winked at one of the little kids at that time, and I said, so I acted really rough in front of
I
people.
remember that. That
And
that
then
was
when people
almost
weren't
like.
looking, I looked at them. You saw that scene?
Yeah, I remember that part. It was almost kind of creepy when you did that wink. I remember it was good though.
It was sort of like saying, you guys know I'm just acting. Don't worry about it. They don't know. So that's the character of Andre to me, was I wanted them to know that they were safe. The kids were safe. But the character for everybody else looked pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
he was kind of misunderstood. I mean, we got him obviously just a little snippet of him, and both episodes he was in, he was upset for a good reason.
And like
too,
I said, if Harris hadn't have kicked him out of the band hall, he wouldn't have been able to go get the rifle. He would have just been in the band hall when Peter came in, and they would have gotten a confrontation, and no rifle would have been there. So
Yeah.
it's all Harris's fault.
You guys could have just had it out man to man.
You know the subtext of why the character was mad?
Oh, and
Yeah.
the fur trades and the affair, of course.
The affair mostly.
Yes.
Because I was on the pipeline for 6 months, and when I came back, my wife was 4 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter got her pregnant.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's what upset Andre.
Yeah.
And then
Obviously.
Andre was struggling, trying to make a living
Mhm.
and provide for his family.
And at that point, Peter had messed up the fur deal, and it just escalated everything crazy.
Yeah, it was totally wild.
Yeah, I think we could understand why Andre was disgruntled.
Yeah.
Was it hard not to laugh during scenes? I mean, being that angry.
Cool. That looks beautiful. Thank you. This is the manager of the Horse Mesa Ranch here. This is Buck.
Ah.
Buck
How you
just
doing?
you're in Toronto. They're doing an interview on a TV show that I was on. And you'll show them the sign. I made the sign. And they changed the address from 101 Horse Ranch Road, 200 Horse Ranch Road to 101. So I made that sign. So
That's
so
cool.
Tina said, you should keep it as, thanks, bud. You should keep it as a souvenir. And I said, okay, because I'm going to be leaving here. So
Oh, yeah.
I've got a souvenir. I'm going to take this over.
Oh, that's amazing, though.
Yeah, this is some stuff. I made a lot of stuff around here, I've been here for a few years, so the landlord was my friend. You know, she passed away here last August.
Uh-huh.
So they had new owners come in, so they're selling the place. So I basically had to move away, and that's sad. But you know, things happen like that. You know,
That's
but I
very
mean, I'm getting a
unfortunate.
little like this is what I do here. This is a shed I built here.
Oh wow, that's
And
cool.
This is my Jeep here.
Nice.
Oh,
I
nice.
love that.
That's CJ6.
And it's bright yellow.
Yeah,
My
that's
favorite.
Wrangler Sport
Oh nice.
with a 9,500-pound winch in the front. It's got a big 6. It's got a Dana 44 rear end, and it's got lifters, and it's a 4-speed.
Oh nice.
Yeah, 5-speed, I should say.
The standard, eh?
Oh yeah, I like it. I got all my vehicles. I got a little sports car kind of, and it's a manual too.
Oh nice.
And
Yeah.
then I have my Jeep's manual, so
Mhm.
I like driving manual, you know.
Yeah.
And here's, you guys like horses?
Yes.
I love horses. Yeah.
Kiara loves horses.
I
did
grew
you
up
have
on a farm.
question? Oh, you grew up on a farm? I used to
Practically.
ride the dairy cow and work at school, and
Oh,
some kids used to do that, you know. They used to ride a dairy cow.
all right.
Did you know that? Some kids rode cows in school a long time ago?
I don't think I've
They
ever
used to show
seen
me.
that.
I grew up in the city.
Oh my goodness,
That's a
beautiful.
nice horse,
It's like a cow and a horse mixed together. I love it.
Nice markings.
It's kind of a gypsy horse, but that's showy.
So were there any difficulties filming North of 60, or was it pretty easy?
It was pretty smooth. There was really no problems.
We were
Yeah,
just
I
wondering.
guess so. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I heard. Yeah. I don't know if I came in season 2. I'm plugging in this Wi-Fi.
Season 1, episode 10, and season 2, episode 7.
Yeah, that's right.
And you got to work with both Sylvie Lebrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the original was played by Annette Lowe. And then
Oh, yeah.
afterwards, Michelle Thrush took over.
Yeah. I worked with Michelle in a couple different films. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was good. You know, it's I guess it's like when I played Dave the Cook. You know, there's a couple of Dave the Cooks. You know, and so there's a couple Sylvies too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do
Anyway,
you... Sorry.
I guess. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what did you think about
No,
how...
you tell me. I'm listening.
What do you think about how everything ended for Andre?
I think it was pretty dramatic. You know, I think they should have wounded him. You know, and then gave him a chance to come back or something.
well, he was a good character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think one of the reasons why they killed him off, though, was to lead to the Sylvie and Peter relationship down the line.
yeah. Yeah, most likely.
Oh yeah.
Because they did end up hooking up after
I
you
didn't
died.
know that.
Sorry. They even have a kid together.
Really?
She's pregnant in one of the movies with his kid.
Wow. So.
Sorry to break it to you, man.
All
she
the
had
other,
two
all of
kids
his
with me
other
and one
children.
with Peter, right? So she had 2 with me and 1 with Peter, right?
Yeah, I technically 2 with Peter because she had the miscarriage with Peter, as well. In season 1, she had
But
the
in the-
miscarriage.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and we don't actually see their kid. Right?
No, the
She's
kid-
just pregnant with a kid in one of the movies,
Yeah.
which is after the series.
Boy, that's spooky, you know.
But all the kids
First
end
I
up
have 2
disappearing,
kids
though.
with her.
Like-
yeah, she seemed
Really?
to get over you pretty
Yeah,
quick. I
Whatever
don't know.
happened to the 2 kids I had?
Yeah, exactly. They just end up disappearing.
Yeah,
The kids I had were
and Peter's kids disappeared
Wow.
too
Yeah.
earlier
were
on.
cute kids.
The show is known for disappearing kids.
I don't know. I think Peter might have had something to do with all
Wow.
these kids disappearing.
Wow. That's funny. That's funny.
So did you
Yeah.
have any kind of moments
Yeah,
that you remember
absolutely.
when you were filming? that were kind of like favorite moments or things that stood out?
I like the kids. They were beautiful, so I winked at them, you know, and so I had like two-fold character. One fold was to the kids. I said, "Don't worry, you guys are okay."
Mm-hmm.
To the adults, I was pissed, you know. Yeah, that's kind of the character a little bit. Yeah, yeah, but you know, I think I can still recall the line. I used to make 40, 50, 60,000 or whatever a year.
30
Now
or
we got
40.
a big. That's all I remember.
Yeah, back when $30,000 or $40,000 a year was a lot of money.
We were just watching it like the other day,
Oh,
so I
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
So that would have been the
Well, I
timeline.
haven't seen it for a while.
So that timeline, you would have been probably just before you were on Dances with Wolves, more or less, right? Or was it? No. I guess
What year was that one made?
Dances with Wolves would have been before that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, what
The show
year was that?
The show started in '92, and so the season 1 aired in '92, and season 2 aired in '93.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
where
we did
Dances
Dances with Wolves. Wolves was done in 89.
Oh yeah. I thought maybe it
1989,
came in
and
out
it
in
didn't get
90.
released till 1990.
Yeah.
As Kevin said, that every show that ever won an Oscar was always released around this time, he said. So even though Dances with Wolves was finished in 89, he didn't want to release it until 1990 at that specific time. Because Kevin had a marketing degree at one time.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh, wow.
And then he changed from marketing to acting.
He's
Quite
multi-talented.
So he knew when to release dances.
Yeah, he's also a really good golfer
Oh
too.
man, he's a pretty hardcore guy, you know, he's a great actor, you know, he's done a lot of good shows and that. I got to meet his wife at that time, Cindy Costner, and his mom and dad, and I remember little Annie Costner one time when I was working on Dances with Wolves. I seen her walking around with this huge book, and I'm gonna click on this phone, this charger right now. Yeah, it's okay. And she was walking around, she's like about 3 or 4 years old, I think, and she had this huge book, and the book was almost half the size of her. And I see her walk by again, and carry this book. I said, "Annie, come here." She goes, I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Everybody's busy and nobody can read to me." And I had time, and I said, "I'll read to you." So I put the book down on the ground, and I said, "Let's read this book." So we read Three Billy Goats Gruff. You know, and so me and Annie were there, and being an actor, I got into the character. "I'm little Billy Goat Gruff. I'm Randy Middle Billy Goat Gruff. I'm Big Billy Goat Gruff. I'm the troll." All these voices go on. Oh my God, she loved it. She loved it. She's just enjoying. She's laughing and happy all through the story of the Three Billy Goat Gruff. And then all of a sudden, when we're finished the last line, all of a sudden we heard clapping, and what the heck? And we looked up, and there was like about 30 people around us. No, I got so into reading her the story. She got so into the story, and we're reading the book on the ground. And when we finished reading the story, there's like about 30 people clapping, and they're all around us.
And I thought nobody had time to read.
That's special. You know?
That's amazing. That's so sweet.
Oh yeah, you know, and acting is hurry up and wait. You know, that's what acting is like. You know?
Yes, that's what Cam would say.
So that's what happened.
We interviewed the boy who played Wayne Dela, and that's the first thing he said about acting. It's just like, hurry up and wait.
Yeah, well, he said that was the issue for kids a lot of the time on set, is that
they couldn't
they're
keep the
impatient,
kids.
right? So it's hard to
Yeah.
get them to wait when you need to.
Well, that's when you get a chance to get into character, or else you make friendships. You know, That's one of the best things about acting is you make some friendships. Like Robert Pasquarelli and Graham Greene and we laughed our heads off all the way from our hotel rooms to set. And Robert was funnier than shit, and Graham was funny. and I could be funny, and we'd be cracking jokes steady from the time we got in the van till we got to location, and it was funny. I mean, it was fun. And Robert played on Murphy Brown. He's no longer with us now, you know. But I mean, he was a great actor. You know, he was funny. He's the guy who played the mule guy, and you know, the mule Skinner guy with all the mules, you know.
Oh yeah.
And he was a cool guy. Yeah, and Graham was funnier and shit, and we all had good times, you know, when we'd ride to set. Yeah. So what's your next question?
I was actually curious. What was the film that you were working on? It's at the beginning and end in the clip you sent. The one with the pink orb that you had in your hand. To me, it looked really fascinating. You were throwing like this pink orb in the fire.
That was a fiber optics commercial I did.
Oh really?
And yeah.
I thought it was like a movie about magic or something.
It was cool though.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
That's what.
I was in Los Angeles when I did that one. And then I went into another film called Buffalo Heart, where I played the star of that film. I played the leading man. And it goes starring Buffalo Child, you know, and I had like the Apache headband on and
Yeah.
shotgun. Yeah. That was fun to play, you know.
Yeah,
I played a few roles where I was the star of a few films. Yeah.
what was the one where you're riding the motorcycle there mostly? Was that role?
That was actually Buffalo Heart.
Okay.
That was the one, yeah.
Yeah.
And north of 60, I rode an ATV, so but on Buffalo Heart, I rode a motorcycle.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of it was pretty serious film, you know. That film was intense, you know.
We should check it out.
And
We haven't seen
I'm
it.
sure if they had a bigger budget, huh?
We should check it out. We haven't seen it.
Well, it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. I think one of my daughters saw it and she cried. She got scared of it, you know.
Oh, wow.
So it's not a PG-13 film. It's like a pretty serious film. You know, and I don't recommend it for children. I recommend it for adults, and it's a story of revenge, you know. And it was pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these guys thought they killed me, and they killed my daughter, and they threw her in a grave and threw me on top of the grave, and then it was a shallow grave, and I crawled out of this grave. Intense.
Yeah, that's the
Very
word.
intense.
Impactful.
And then I went after all the people, and they were like redneck, you know, redneck cops, redneck motel owners. They weren't very nice people.
Yeah.
But in the character, I got rid of everybody, and at the end, I get shot, you know. And there was intense moments in that film because the guy who played the lead of the bad guys used to work as Secret Service for which president was it? I can't remember which president.
That's still pretty crazy.
Anyway, he worked for the real president. Yeah, and me and him had the scenes together, and we had I had to shoot at him and he was shooting at me, and I had no idea that when we started shooting, like I was shooting blanks on a shotgun, 12 gauge, and then he was shooting this when we started doing the scene, and a blank with a cotton ball will rip right through a fence. So I could have shot this guy in real life, but we rehearsed it like 3 or 4 times, and I told him we're going to rehearse this over and over. So we rehearsed it, and then we grabbed rocks, a handful of rocks, and we're throwing just a foot ahead of each other, like a foot ahead, but it looked like we were shooting at each other. And then we were throwing the rocks like a foot ahead, and we were pacing ourselves by our steps. So we're going step, 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 sort of like that, and it was really intense. And then when we started shooting it with the gunpowder, you know, coming out, he disappeared because there's smoke. And I go, holy shit, I could really kill this guy. And so I had to think in my mind, stay in character. It's not about acting now, it's about technique. You have to be exactly where you're supposed to be. You have to do exactly what you practice. And then all of a sudden, he was a white guy, and he had like the sun was at my back, and it hit him in the head, and he was sweating, and I saw a beam on his forehead, And I go, great, I know exactly where he is. So we finished the scene, and that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could have really shot this guy.
That's what makes it fun, right?
Things happen like that. It's interesting. You know, I've had shows like I played in Cowboys and Aliens, where I had this one director there who was pretty good on Cowboys and Aliens, but the first AD was different, and the first AD wanted to argue all the time with the director. So they argue all the time, the first AD and the director, and the first AD took over some of the directing, and he almost got me killed.
Oh.
And he had this scene where I'd run down this thing, this little pathway that was about 2.5 feet wide, and there's no place to escape. And I did it like 4 times. And then all of a sudden, the first AD sent a horse down that pathway when I was halfway down and I had no place to escape.
Wow.
It's like he was trying to get me killed, you know. So I ran down that pathway and I heard a horse, and I go, holy jeez. So Indian ways, you're not supposed to be scared. You go within you go within inside yourself, and then you pray in your mind and your heart. And so I got a message what to do. So as soon as the horse came up to me, I'd hear the hoof. I leaped in the air about a foot high, and I elbowed the horse with my elbow right in his shoulder and pushed my elbow down. It lifted me up in the air about 1.5 feet, and then it pushed the horse a little to the left and me a little to the right, and then we just barely squeezed by.
Wow.
And we got out there, and then I ran out there. The horse rider came over. He's freaked out. He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were there. The first AD sent me down there."
That's
And I
crazy.
said, "Wow, man, was that ever a thrill, man? It's amazing." You know? I was all pumped up from adrenaline. So,
Oh, you can
the
turn
guy
any
was all
situation
freaked
around.
out.
You're probably pretty mad at the guy, though, right?
Well, the rider didn't know what was going on. He just
Oh, I
was
mean, the
told to
guy
ride
who-
down there.
The AD guy.
The AD had some issues, you know. I think his wife was a hair or makeup girl, and she liked me, and I think it's just jealous.
Yeah,
Weird,
jealousy,
you know,
so let's
things
kill
happen weird.
people.
Well, he just made you look like more of a hero.
So,
Well,
can you handle a rifle? Like,
people
sorry.
knew the truth. I'm good with a rifle.
Yeah.
I used to hunt, like, you know, I've been hunting since I was like 5 years old in a res. Used to go snare 3 or 4 or 5 rabbits in the morning, and 4 or 5 rabbits at nighttime, you know, and
So-
reset the snares. And sometimes they're live, so you have to club them. And, yeah, I grew up like that, you know, in the res, like, you know, like young guy, and I did that, you know, at that time I was probably about 11, getting about maybe 10 rabbits a day, 4 or 5 every morning, and 4 or 5 every night, resetting the snares. But I used to hunt a lot, and I used to have a 30-06 and British 303 Enfield, and I had 30-30 Winchester Model 94, you know, and I used to tell my kids, 4 shells, 4 deer, never miss a shot. And that's the way I used to be. I only used 1 shell to kill a deer, because you didn't miss. But I quit hunting.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I know why. But I mean, I quit hunting. But I mean, I grew up that way. Yeah.
So do
I
you
speak my
know?
language. You know.
Do you know many of the characters from North of 60? Like, would you?
North. Yeah.
So, if you weren't
One of the
Andre,
first films I was ever in. Yeah.
if you weren't Andre, who would you have chosen
I
to
knew
play?
Jimmy Herman.
Okay.
If I was.
If you
Say
didn't
that
get to
again?
play Andre, which character do you think you'd want to play?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of worded the question wrong.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh man, there's some cool characters there. You know, Jimmy Herman played a pretty cool character.
Joe
Yeah.
Gamba.
You know.
Yeah, Joe was cool.
I like Jimmy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's definitely one of our
Probably
favorites.
Peter. Yeah,
Peter?
Probably Peter.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely different from you in real life,
You want
for
to put
sure.
a different spin on him, that's for sure.
He's very
Well,
stuck up person. Kind of very
really?
business.
Stuck up?
Well, not stuck up, like very businessy. You know, no, he's not a hunter. He doesn't even know how to clean a gun, pretty much.
Oh,
Yeah, he's not a very outdoorsy
Well, I
guy
guess
on the
I can-
show, right? He's kind of,
kind of a womanizer, eh?
he's supposed to be, I guess, the book smart type. He doesn't really.
Yeah, like
you know-
Michelle,
Oh,
this is the one who knows how to hunt and trap in the family.
Yeah, that's what Joe tells
wow.
a guy that one time. He goes, if you're gonna take a Kennedy hunting, take Michelle. He goes, if Peter had to feed himself with a rifle, he'd starve.
Yeah, if Peter had to feed his family with a rifle, they'd starve.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
That's funny. Yeah. One of the very first films I was ever in, well, there's a couple that I can think of. There was ANCS did a film with Chief Dan George. That was like one of the very first films I was ever in. And I was with a film with Dan George. I was like young, like 17-ish, 18-ish. And then there was one with Jimmy Herman, produced one himself a long time ago. And it was called A Matter of Choice, I think it was.
Wow.
And it was about this young guy going to vote for the first time on the res. And he said, I like this guy because he's funny, you know, and I'm going to vote for him. And then I like this guy too because he's smart. I like this guy too because he cares for the people. Well, which one are you going to choose? And it was called A Matter of Choice. It's well made, you know. Jimmy Herman actually directed it. I think he wrote it.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I like Jimmy. Jimmy was a friend of mine, you know. And Jimmy and I worked on a few films together, you know. So Jimmy was pretty cool.
Yeah, he seemed to be well loved by everyone who met him. Everybody seemed to
I
get
liked
along
him,
with him.
yeah.
So, is there
Well, he
anybody?
cared about people, I did.
Is there anybody you're still
there
in
anybody what?
contact with from the show?
Not really. Not from a show, you know. Periodically, I'll meet somebody. You know.
I guess you
my
live.
life has taken like so many changes in my life, you know.
Oh, now you live in the States
Just had a
too.
lot of changes. Well, I live in the States. I became like one of the top tour guides in Sedona, and I take people to these vortexes. I take people to there's places called Devil's Bridge. You can Google it. And Sedona, there's places called Robert's Roost, where famous outlaws used to really go in real life, you know, hideouts, you know, and they call it Shaman's Cave too, you know, and places like that. And I take people to these places, and there's some special places out here. I don't like the city. Sedona's too commercial. But when you go outside in nature, that's my thing, you know. And
Yeah,
go
us too, really.
in my Jeep, and I'll take people hiking. Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of
I love
forced
it.
to live
I
in
love the nature. Yeah. What's the other question you had there? You had like a whole bunch. I know you did. You told me all these questions you had.
I think we got
I
it.
think we've asked all of the ones we had prepared. Well, we were going to ask what you've done with your life
you
since
too.
the show,
Yeah.
but you've kind of given us a synopsis of that.
Not really.
No, you've been
I
like,
got a teaching degree.
oh
What?
wow,
I got a teaching
Ooh,
degree.
I need to hear about
Yeah,
this.
I do.
And what?
I got it.
What are you teaching in?
I teach language, but I also teach Native American Studies.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
From
cool.
kindergarten to grade 12, I got a teaching degree in Montana.
That's neat.
And let me see where. Let's see. So you didn't know that, eh?
No.
no, we didn't.
So let's, yeah, let me see.
So not only have you done acting, but you're a tour guide, and now you do teaching. What else have you done?
Everything. You don't want to know some of my stuff in the past, but well, one time I used to be a boxer.
What?
Wow.
I did.
This guy's life just
Yeah,
keeps
I
getting
did,
more interesting.
Oh, we're losing the video.
I
idea
did
here.
martial arts.
We lost
See what
you.
we can do. Let's explain.
Gotcha.
Hang on, I'll try to get you back.
There we go.
We got you.
Okay, I think it was the battery.
Mm.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to reverse this around.
Oh yeah, there we go.
This is one of my teaching days. This is from kindergarten to grade 12
Cool.
in Montana. And it's got some credential stuff in the back. And this is University of Montana and Blackfoot Community College. I went there for a while.
Nice.
495 level. Raven's voice had to do with Indian education. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a 4.0 GPA on that.
Wow.
And yeah, I had.
Good.
Yeah, very good. It's like
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh.
There's some of my marks. All A's.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So.
The star
I did
student.
Yeah, well, when
Well,
you fall in love with the subject, sometimes it just comes
You
out.
want to see something really cool though?
Uh huh. Sure.
This is cool. This is cool. This is called. This is a certificate, documentation of registration. Writers Guild of America, Buffalo Chow, Where Buffalo Roams. And I wrote this synopsis, and I got like 52 short stories that I want to work into it.
Oh wow.
And it's basically a feature film, and it's a storyline of Where Buffalo Roams, a feature film later to become a television series and a semi-reality TV series.
Wow.
Tagline is not about the destination, it's about the journey. The meaning comes after the meeting of people, places, and things where Buffalo roams. And it just says description of Buffalo Child lead star, a nomadic Plains Cree Indian, a newly single father without his children who travels to ceremonies and celebrations throughout the United States, lonely and nearly heartbroken and always still smiles. Buffalo embarks on a spiritual journey of awareness and inner healing, not only for himself, but also for all those who encounter Buffalo. He touches their lives, fatherless children and lonely professional women, people of all races and cultures, becomes part of their lives and shares the old ways, the Indian ways. Excellent horseman, hoop dancer, power dancer, professionally trained as a massage therapist, a photographer, a handyman. Buffalo travels through America, struggling to make a living and always looking for work and always sharing a good laugh with all those he meets. Ex-stuntman, ex-bouncer, raised in the old ceremonial ways of its people. Buffalo has many hidden skills that give him a deep introspection of life, nearly being an elder of his people. It says nearly there, but still a man who can still move like a 20-year-old and does not like being called old. But it's basically Buffalo's journey enters into a fascinating world of mystery with a Native American Indian who belongs 100 or 200 years in the past, even though a Buffalo can still drive, talk English, he's still one nomadic Plains Indian where Buffalo roams. And basically it was pretty phenomenal. I don't think you want me to read the next page, but it was basically...
No, it was great to hear it though. I mean, that's a really cool idea, I think.
Of life and in general ways, and it happens that they journey and they travel to different events. It's basically a two-star cast, and they got a 70 Chevy van, and it's pretty interesting, and that's the last page. I don't think you want to hear that, but it's pretty fantastic, you know.
Sounds like a really
But
cool
that's
story.
wow. That's the wind. In our language, we say you didn't. I gotta catch this. You didn't, yeah. Yeah. Nodawi Mao is like Father Sky. Muskiki you did is like the medicine one did. And I speak my language, you know, so it's like I pray here in the morning, every morning, when the sun comes up, you know, I watch the sunrise over the mesa here. And so I practice these ways, you know, it's pretty cool, you know. You know, that's the mesa right there. Let's see if I got this right. Okay. Yeah, that's working. There it is. See by my Jeep,
beautiful.
and that mesa behind,
Uh-huh.
that's where the sun rises in the the morning time.
Amazing.
So that's
beautiful.
where I pray in the morning. Yeah.
Well, it's
And
nice.
that's to the east.
It's nice to see,
Yeah.
you know, that you practice the traditional ways. That's really cool.
Yeah, I start off my day, you know, like, and then the sun sets, and then it sets in the west over here. And then I could show you a little bit here. We got a lot of horses here. We've got one donkey. We have like some few mules, and we have like some little burros. They're little cute little burros, you know. But I don't know, this would be here at the ranch. Yeah. And
That's
this
beautiful.
is Arizona. Yeah. But this has been my home for years. And I've grown to like it, you know. It's kind of hard for me to leave. But then I'm going to be leaving, you know, because it looks like I'm going to go back to Canada and do acting again.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, that's exciting.
Their loss is our gain, I guess, right?
yeah. Well, I love it. You know, it's all good. Let me switch this around here to reversal. There we go.
We've got a couple comments for you. Jake Wabo says, excellent photo. Tina Dahl says, talented actor, not hard on the eyes either. Barbara Joe, he handsome and he knows it, just saying. And lastly, Martha Davies says, whoo, man, LOL, he's very handsome. I would have an affair with him. Those were her words.
That's funny. Yeah.
So you're obviously popular with the ladies.
Well, I always believe treat ladies like ladies, you know. Treat people good, and what goes around comes around. So if you practice Dharma love, or if you practice, you know, kindness, it comes back to you.
That's why you're getting all the love.
You must be a really nice guy to the ladies then.
Well, I haven't drank for many years, you know. And I have people that get jealous of me, you know, even a couple of my sons, you know. But that's because they drink, you know.
Mm.
And people who drink usually have issues, you know. And when you don't drink, you don't blame people for your problems. You overlook your problems. You improve your life. And there's a little bird here. Oh, it flew away. Oh, I was going to switch it on. But I've dealt with everything here when I've been living here. I had a cougar one time try to eat my new chihuahua.
Wow.
And I happened to have my machete close by and I chased it. And it wasn't afraid of me until I just about hit it. And then it ran away because it was like a teenage cougar.
Yeah.
It was like, what? You know, it's like probably big, probably 200 pounds or more.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, 250. But there's a cougar, mountain lion.
Yeah.
Then I've dealt with in the nighttime. I've had javelinas come here. They got razor sharp teeth. They can rip apart a dog because their tusks are like razors. And I had something that I left outside one time. I dropped it and I said, I'm going to get it. So I went over there and I heard a breathe thing right beside me. I go, what the heck? So I turned on the flashlight 2 feet away from me. He's a big 100-pound javelina. And I go, okay. And I didn't have nothing in my hand but a flashlight. So with animals, you know, it's like horses. If you're afraid of horses, you know, the horses can tell, you know.
Yeah.
So you don't be afraid of the horses. And you ride the horse and you connect with the horse, right?
Exactly.
And with the javelina, when I get in a predicament with a cougar or a javelina, I just let it know I'm not afraid. And I'm watching it, and I'll leave talking in normal voice.
Mm-hmm.
What's your problem, man? I'm not bothering you. You don't bother me. We're okay. Yeah, and then you just kind of, everything's cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you do around animals is panic.
Oh, yeah.
You run away from a bear and chases you. So what you do with a bear is you play dead with a bear, you know. But that's it. You want to hear a silly story?
Of course.
Of course, a horse. There's lots of horses. Horse. Anyway, I was walking in British Columbia here probably 6 months ago. I was visiting up there, and I see this young hippie guy, you know, walking on the tracks. We cut across this near the res. And I go, hey, you see any bears? And he goes, no. He's looking a little worried. I said, I saw two here yesterday. He goes, really? Yeah. They're two hippies. They're running around naked. And he starts laughing. Because, you know, some of those hippies, they run around in the bush with no clothes on.
Naturalists.
Not all of them, you know, but I mean, like, in the country, they get away with it, you know. So I don't care, you know, it's just, you know, I don't know what to say. It's funny. It really happens, you know. So, yeah.
Well,
So
we don't
anyway,
want to. We don't want to take up your whole day, but we do have to hear, like you said, you may be coming back to Canada to act. So have you got something lined up, or are you just, is this a general plan that you have?
Well, I have an agent that's been trying to get me up there for a while, and I had some big auditions through her, and I nailed one, and then I got hurt. You know, I tore a rotator cuff in my arm.
Oh, wow.
So I got it fixed, reattached, and then everything happened so fast. And now they said, you know, you healed like 5 times faster than most. Like they're just amazed how well I healed. So I think what it is because I don't drink and I don't smoke. Now the only time I smoke is tobacco in a chanupa or a squagan, mosquito squagan, like a medicine pipe, prayer pipe. Other than that, I don't smoke, you know. And
That's good.
I just don't do those things. And I eat pretty healthy. I mostly eat organic food, eh?
Yeah,
And,
that helps.
like, yeah, I live pretty healthy, and I'm outside a lot. I hike a lot of 20-year-olds. And they go on trails, but some of them say they're athletes. But I mean, I don't know. I think what it is you feel the energy. You know, like in our language, you say Ngawi ski, like Mother Earth. You say no Dawi Mao, you know, Father Sky, Hokum Tip Skak Kisim, like Grandmother Night Moon, Mushum, you know, Kisis, like Grandfather Sun, you know, Kakyugo Wakamagan, all our relations, you know. I think that's the hardest thing for me is leading the nature of this place, you know, because I do that. And sometimes I get teaching jobs, you know, they flew me. I was down in Cal State University in California, and they had like they wanted me to speak there, so I spoke there for 3 hours. A 3-hour lecture I did, and I had like 512 students at the lecture. And when I was lecturing there on Native American Studies, Native spirituality, traditions, you know, different things, and modern situations we have today, I had 12 PhDs there. So I said to the students, I said, I'm going to answer all your questions. If I don't know one answer, I got 12 PhDs in the front row to help. And so everybody's pretty cool about that. And so I lectured for 3 hours. Every question got answered. But you know who asked most of the questions?
The PhDs?
Absolutely. 12 PhDs asked more questions than 512 students. And I wish that would have been a dissertation for me to get a PhD, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I know that.
But it's okay. Yeah. But my family is pretty traditional, you know. There's medicine people on my mom's side, medicine people on my dad's side, you know. And I had some great role models. I went to my first Sundance when I was like 5 years old, you know.
Good.
And I'm a hoop dancer, and still hoop dance. I sing, you know, and I sing a chant in the morning, usually now, and a chant in the evening, like in the morning time, I'll sing a morning chant, like there's different ones, but there's one is Ska da da behuma, say this is nani kamua, hey na wa, kita sing that one, you know. And the first time I heard that was when I was a little boy, 5 years old. And I asked my grandmother about it. She told me. So I sing that, and then when the sun sets, I got a different one. Na naskonta mamutawi ma que sei maneto, you know, that's like a Thanksgiving song for that day. You know, we're thankful for all the things on Mother Earth, the Great Spirit, Grandfather, to make us happy. You know,
It's really
things
beautiful.
like that. Thank you. Hey, hey. Awesome. Any more questions from the audience?
Not really.
They didn't really have questions, just they wanted to comment on how good looking
Yeah,
you were.
there was even more comments about how good looking you are. That was almost all the comments. There was like 20, 30 comments about how good looking you
Wow.
were through all the different photos. So. But
Well,
yeah.
I don't know what to say.
So I guess
I got a 6-pack.
I guess you're in good standing to continue your acting career because the women in Canada obviously like you.
Well, I like them too. I like everybody. You know? I even like the people that don't like me.
What area are you moving to, or do you know yet? Or you just?
I think probably in British Columbia it might be. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Toronto one time. You know, I worked out there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I lived at a place near Chester subway stop.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I had a place I rented there. It was beautiful. It was like the second floor, and it was all like 2 or 3 rooms, and the bedroom was like 3/4 windows, and it was all full of trees. The trees were up there. It was really pretty.
Oh yeah.
I remember some beautiful people I met up there. It was nice, a long time ago. Kayas! Yeah. Yeah. Well, how are you two doing here?
We're doing pretty good. I mean, same as usual.
Yeah, it's colder here.
My wife's trying
Really?
to live with me through the lockdown.
Yeah, he's really annoying.
Yeah. Did you know I had my second COVID shot?
Oh
Like
really?
on the Navajo res, they were giving them out sooner because the white people could get them at 65 here, you know? You're 65, you can get them. If you're under 65, you couldn't get them right away.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then they were like getting them at 50 years old if you were, or younger even, on
Yeah.
the res, in the Navajo res.
Yeah.
So there's one was called, was it Tuba City, I think I was going to go to. Then they had a satellite sort of what do you call that? Not a hospital, but like a clinic, I guess.
Okay.
That was in Flagstaff. So I ended up going to that, and I got my first COVID shot about 3 months ago, I guess.
Oh,
And then a month later, I got my second one.
nice.
And then they say 2 weeks after that, you should be fully vaccinated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do. When I was in outside of where was that? Window Rock, and there's a place in New Mexico there. And for right now, I forget the name of the place. And I go buy jewelry there. Sometimes I make jewelry. You know.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. But most of the time, I'm like this kick-ass tour guide in Sedona. I could give private tours. I could give some of the best tours out here. Because one time I had this 78-year-old granny that was like 250 pounds, and she was like 5'10". She wanted to climb Bell Rock.
Wow.
She said, "I want to climb Bell." I said, "No." 3 days she bothered me, and I said, "I'll walk you around it." So I walked around Bell Rock. On the 3rd day, it bothered me. She says, "Okay, let's climb it now." I said, "No, no, no. 20-year-olds can't climb it sometimes." She says, "I'm a tough old pioneer woman." And I said, "You know what? You've been really bugging me for 3 days. I'll give you a little test. If you pass this little test," I said, we'll try it." She goes, "Okay." So I took her on this little 30-degree slope or something, maybe not that much. And I made her push like chicken grip, not chicken grip, but you hold each other's wrist. And when you need to get your balance, you push it to my hands. And when you need a hand, you pull, a little tug. And then I'll know what you're saying. So I worked her with that little exercise. And I made her do figure eights and sideways and everything like that. And she did it. And this other tour guide saw me and he says, "I can't believe you made that old lady do that? I said, I can't believe she did it. I said, and I said, okay, let's try it. We made it all the way to the top of Bell Rock.
Wow.
And she started crying. She says, this has been my dream all my life to get to the top of Bell Rock. And she said, I knew you're the only one that can do it for me. She says, I knew it. And I got her up there and back down safely, and that was one of her dreams.
Well, what did you
But I
use?
mean,
Like
it was
a pulley and ropes?
Huh?
Like a pulley and
No.
ropes? Is that how you got her up?
Nope. Nope. I just, once in a while, I'd grab my hand and I'd say, grab my hand if you need it. I'd tow truck her up a little bit, pull her up once in a while,
Uh-huh.
you know. But she was amazing. And then I usually take people up there. I take people to, like, special places in Sedona. And when I get them up there, I usually go up to the side if there's a view and I have a little prayer time by myself alone. And then I said, okay, now you're up here. I said, I want to go away for a minute, just have a little prayer time. She goes, can I come? I'll be quiet. And I said, okay. And all right. So I went over there and I prayed and I gave thanks, you know. And then she yells out my name and thank God for, you know, she yells out my name for taking her up there. So that was pretty funny. And then I got her back down safely. But she's a remarkable lady. You know. There's not too many like that around that are willing to do that, you know, and they keep themselves strong. I remember when I was 10 years old, my great-grandmother died. She was 107.
Wow.
And she used to change my diapers, you know, one time when I was younger, like 1 year old or so. She changed my diapers when I was a little baby. And that same old lady met Jesse James, and she's like 14 years old, eh?
Huh.
She shook hands with Jesse James. So the same one who shook hands with Jesse James changed my diaper.
Wow.
You know what that makes me? Badass. I'm just kidding. But it's a true story. But I'm just teasing. Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed meeting you guys.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed this
Yes.
too. We hope you keep in touch. We want to hear about your
I'm
move
falling.
and any acting prospects. So keep us
I
surprised.
played the stars of films down in the States in Florida, you know, like little things, you know, like D films and stuff, you know, sometimes I'll do that. And then there was other stories that I did, like, let me go up here. This is my house. I don't know if you can see it.
Cool.
Oh, wait, I got it backwards. Hang on, it's kind of messy right now. I live on a ranch.
Yeah,
So
so
then I kind of got everything in here.
I like the
this.
wood
Isn't that
ceiling.
pretty?
Yeah, I like the wood everywhere.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's completely our style.
I mean-
Like wood, everything.
You see these plastic bags that I shredded. You know why I do this?
What was that?
Can you guess? I shredded this plastic bag like this. You know why?
No clue. Keep track of the wind.
Okay. No. In our culture, we never allow a bird in the house. It's not a good omen. If a bird comes in the house, you know, it's like a death in the family.
Oh.
So when I put these things on, they scare the birds away. So if I have the door open, the bird won't fly in my house.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I
pretty
mean,
cool.
that's just something I'll invent or I'll make happen when I'm out here. But I mean, yeah, things are pretty good, you know. The old saying, if your dreams aren't coming true, just be happy your nightmares aren't.
That's a good saying.
Anyway, I wish you guys all the best.
Yeah,
You know,
you too.
You guys have a blessed life and happiness together. And I hope you guys have like 40 kids together.